just a small world after all.
Their songs are sung the world over, so infectious, so unforgettable, and so ubiquitous that, well, sometimes they can be downright annoying.
Small world.
Now you say people either want to kiss you or kill you because
Oh, sure. They call it an earworm. You know, you can't get it out of your ear. It just crawls in there and stays.
For a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go
These,
down.
and hundreds more, are the creations of brothers Richard and Robert Sherman, one of the most prolific songwriting duos of all time.
Bang, bang, chitty, chitty, bang, bang, loves us too. Willie the Pooh, Willie nilly, silly old bear.
You've been quoted as saying, he wrote the words and music, I wrote the music and words. Is that how that works?
Well, that's a good way of saying it. Actually, we sat in the room together and stirred up the pot.
You kind of coming up with something, him coming up with the better, you coming up with the better.
A frenzied ping pong game.
Growing up, older brother Robert aspired to write novels, Richard symphonies. One day, their songwriting father gave them a challenge.
I bet you couldn't team up together and write a song that some kid would give up his lunch money to buy a record of it. He said, yeah, I don't think you have enough brains to do that. And he turned around and left.
Was he serious or was he pulling your leg?
Dead serious.
Whoa.
This was the result. Tall Paul, their first hit, sung by former Disney Mouseketeer Annette Funicello.
There's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
It wasn't long before Walt Disney himself took note, and thus began a big, bright, beautiful collaboration.
Just a dream away.
Our songwriters, Dick and Bob Sherman of the Walt Disney Studio.
Is that a little scary seeing the seven dwarves looking down on you like that?
No, it's friendly. I love those guys. My goodness, without those guys, I wouldn't be here.
It's true.
You know.
And there he is.
There's Walt.
Richard Sherman is 85 now, as upbeat and vibrant as the songs he and his brother composed. Robert was 86 when he died in 2012. In the early 60s, the brothers occupied adjacent offices on the Disney lot, right down the hall from Walt.
They called you the boys?
He gave us the name The Boys. He didn't like formality, and he hated being called Mr. Disney. He just liked being called Walt. He liked that very much.
For Richard Sherman, the memories of those early days are sweet, especially one night in 1965, when the brothers took home 2 Oscars for Mary Poppins.
A wonderful, wonderful night. It was a great, great experience. One was for the song, and one was for the score.
Also in Richard's den, a slew of Grammys, and enough gold and platinum records to fill 2 walls.
Hello.
Plus,
Oh, look!
There's more.
And when I eat bananas.
since they were written, many of the Sherman scores have taken on a life of their own on stage.
I'll become a man cub and get some etiquette.
These days, The Jungle Book is breaking box office records at the Huntington Theater in Boston. Richard Sherman enthusiastically embraces all of it.
And I can't get down to the bottom. R. No.
I was always kind of the sparkly, happy guy. Everything was great and wonderful. Dr. Pangloss, I was looking, this is the best of all possible worlds. Bob was kind of more serious-minded.
And if there was a song that would express you and your personality and your brother and his personality.
You're too tough. Let me see, I'd say,
Well.
with me it would be supercalifragilistic.
Right. He'd be
That's-
more Feed the Birds.
Yeah, he'd be
right?
Feed the Birds.
Yeah.
Although I do dearly love that song.
Feed the birds, tuppence a bed.
Mary Poppins was the first movie I ever saw. I was, I think, 3.5, right? We got this album, although our copy in the Giles family had like lots of spaghetti stains and
Oh,
whatnot.
I figure that, yeah.
From us like pouring over everything and little fingerprints on every part of it.
Oh.
And now it's the subject of this new movie, Saving Mr. Banks.
Absolutely, it's how this came about.
The story of the making of Mary Poppins will open in December with Tom Hanks as Walt Disney.
You can't imagine how excited I am to finally meet you.
Would you mind? My name is Mrs. Travers, Mr. Disney.
Oh, Walt, now you gotta call me Walt.
Here for everyone.
And Emma Thompson as P.L. Travers, the reclusive writer who wants no part of Walt Disney's wonderful world.
No. Responsible is not a word.
We made it up.
Well, unmake it up.
Jason Schwartzman plays Richard Sherman.
We were working, having a great time writing this, coming up with crazy words like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Right.
And Mrs. Travers just disliked everything.
Of course, the real Richard Sherman was on hand during the filming to give Jason Schwartzman a few pointers.
And what are those chords, those last ones?
How would you grade him on a scale of 1 to 10?
A+. There you go. So when the cat has got your tongue, there's no need for dismay. Just summon up this word and then you've got a lot to say. But better use it carefully.
And A++ is how I felt. Getting a chance to share the joy Richard Sherman has brought to the world for all these years. For me, it was all just...
Docious-expialistic, fragicalirupus, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.